Hi everybody, today I have UBIKA with me again and we are going to speak about a segment that is interesting as well, the small and medium businesses. Because these organizations do not have IT teams, they do not have security specialists, but yet they do have web application, they have a growing attack surface and a growing amount of online resource, cloud-based, locally based, it just vary depending on the organization. And they do not have easily access to protection for this application, or it's usually very expensive. So UBIKA bring a solution, and Joseph with me today is gonna bring some highlight about this. I have a nice dashboard inside already that looks good. So tell us more about this.
Hello, Alex. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Joseph from UBIKA. So quite excited to be talking to you today about the SaaS version of our WAF. Like you say, you highlighted that in the introduction. So people tend to think that our solution is actually designed for big accounts, right? So there's multinational companies working with us, but obviously we address those needs. But we also don't overlook the potential of the businesses that are coming from small and medium-sized company, okay? And what we're doing with this specific sector is that we have a WAF that doesn't need to be installed directly on their premises. What we do is that we want to take away all the pressure of having to install the solution, having to maintain the solution, having to manage the solution, okay? Because this is going to waste their time, it's going to cost too much, and obviously it's going to ask them to do some training in order to have autonomy and competency in managing this platform. And this is something that we can do with our SaaS version, which is we call it's Cloud Protector, okay? One thing that I wanted to do without before we get into showing you how that solution looks in the real life is that it's fully based in the cloud, and this cloud is also available in Canada for our Canadian customers, okay? And so this is how it looks like. What you can see on your screen is a typical dashboard for Cloud Protector. And for the first thing that you can see is the number of attacks, for example, that we can block, even in the last 14 days, the number of requests that came through the solution, the family of attacks, the in-sequence injection, all the rate limiting, all the command injection, all the path transversal that you can have. Even we can also have some control based on geo IPs to say what kind of IPs are trying to connect to your applications. We can have also information about, let's say, your application health. Check, see what's the response time, to see what is this application is running well, if there's an issue. We also go through our dashboard. We can have information about the throughput to know how much traffic is going through. And two other things that we can see. You can see on the left, the top attacking IPs, and you can also see the top IP client. So it gives you very broad information on what is going on and making you, feel, let's say, at least happy with all the information that you have and know how you can customize and, better secure your application.
Yeah. It looks like a great turnkey solution, but do you have extra module? Like, can the customer tailor the solution and adjust to what they need?
Thank you, Alex, for asking that question. If you want to go into that, obviously there's a kind of way to customize the solution. But again, bear in mind that we're not looking for you to get too much into the detail, right? The philosophy of a Cloud Protector is that we want to make it easy. And what you see here is all the security modules that you can either activate or deactivate. For example, here we have the generic engines that we can activate. If you have APIs, for example, you get the module for that. You have a module for the WebSocket, that is a bi-dimensional traffic. Yeah. You can also do a filtering based on the IP reputation, meaning that you have certain kind of IPs. We work with a business partner who is actually going to, let's say, keep control of more than 12 million IP addresses. And we can see based on the reputation, if they've ever been involved in any attack in the world, then we see how we can blacklist this one or we can allow them, okay? We can protect based on geolocation. We can protect we can, for example, do also some rate limiting, meaning that if someone tries to connect in a very short space of time to your application, this is something that we can easily block. You also know, remember, Alex, once you have an application online on the internet, most of the time you have bots trying to connect to your application, right? And among these bots, you have the good bot, you have the bad bot, right? Our solution can also help you to kind of discriminate between these two, only allowing good bot to connect to your application. Okay.
And so is it easy to deploy then? Because it looks advanced, simple, but yet advanced and strong. So is it easy to put in place?
It might sound very surprising because the solution itself, if you want to deploy that, let's say, for example, we take a case of one application, it would take you, let's say, around 5 minutes, even less than that, to configure one application. And the idea is, what we do is that today, without the Cloud Protector, if a customer wants to connect to your website, they type www.mycompany.ca, for example. They connect right to your website. If tomorrow they want to use Cloud Protector, one thing we do is that it's just a DNS redirection, meaning that the traffic is going to be redirected through to our Cloud Protector data center. Once we do all the filtering and we're satisfied that the request is actually genuine, then we can redirect that request to your website. Simple as that, no hustle. You can control the cost. You have minimum involvement in terms of administration. You can decide to leave whenever you want, because one thing as well that we see with our solution is that some customer, they have this maybe for a temporary application, right? I'm working on a project. I have an application that is going to be online for a year. Meaning that I have a contract for 1 year. It's based on one application, based on the bandwidth. And once that year is gone, I don't have to renew my commitment. I can just move on to stopping that commitment, or maybe subscribe to a new application.
That's nice. So it even works, like, despite the application being cloud-based, you can also protect on-prem with that same thing. I'm thinking about organizations, SMB, that have like multiple sites. They have, let's say, webcam, like no webcam, but security cameras and stuff like that are exposed, but they don't want to expose it. They could actually hide that between the WAF for anything that they need remote access for.
That's a very valid point. Sometimes when people hear us talking about a SaaS, WAF as a SaaS, they think it's mainly for all cloud-based application. That's not the case. A customer can have the application based or hosted on any environment, on-prem or cloud, okay? It doesn't matter. It could also be an API, right? Because we'll be speaking about applications, but we also have to include the API, as part of this project, okay? And that means we protect all the applications and API on-prem, off-prem, and the only thing we need to know is what kind of protocol that application is using to communicate with your backend. If it's going through an HTTP and HTTPS, or it's using JSON, REST, SOAP, XML, then obviously we're going to be able to address the needs of security based on that protocol.
Very nice. So yeah, this is really like an easy way to deploy security on application that are like public cloud, private cloud, on-prem, anywhere. So this is great. I mean, reducing the attack surface, reducing the risk. I like it. Again, as we said in previous video, this is also a product that you can have information about speaking to your local representative of UBIKA in Canada, I guess, as well.
Yes, definitely. We need to mention that, but the solution is hosted on OVH clouds, and that is actually present in Canada. We have a local presence in Canada. We are the customers or businesses in Canada, small and medium-sized business, or even big account, who wants to talk to us about the solution. We are ready, or we're there to address that. And I also want you guys to stay tuned for our last video that's going to be tackling also something which is connected to this topic. And this topic is about sovereignty and compliance, right? Because when you want to go cloud, when you want to give your data to someone who is pretending or saying we have a cloud or data center, we have to make sure that that data center actually is not only local, but you also have to make sure that it actually addresses all the challenges and constraint around data sovereignty. And that's what we'll be talking about. Thank you very much, Alex, for having me around. And thanks to everyone for listening.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. See you in the next one. Yeah, great topic ahead as well. See you later.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.